Hi viewers,
Hi.
welcome back to Mama Jess Talk Show. Wow, so this is an episode in the Women in Leadership series, which we title Balancing, your role as a leader, probably in the administrative sector or you're at your place of work and also in your marriage. So we're looking at leadership, managerial leadership role, and also balancing it with your marriage. It's head of that there are women in the society that are doing well as a leader out there in organizations, and also keeping their homes intact, and the husband, they are being respectful to the husband, and carrying the family along. So we want to know how such kind of balance could be maintained, being a leader as a woman and also being able to submit in your marriage, to your husband and all of that. So with us to do justice to this topic is Mrs Adegun. Yes, and we thank God for her. I know her as one very amiable lady, and I know she has some leadership skills she will share with us, and I believe that as you're watching, you'll be blessed. But before we go in, please, I just want to remind you to grab something. We have something here. I want to give cheers to all the women out there.
Yes.
It's International Women's Month.
Yes.
And on that note, we say cheers.
To exploit. Yes.
To exploit to greater height and breaking the bias.
Yes.
So grab your own wine there and and catch up with this insightful episode. Sit back, click on that subscription button to keep you in line of subsequent episode, and just stay tuned as Mrs. Adegun does justice to this topic. Nemia, welcome to Mom and Jess Talk Show. Thanks for having me in your lovely home.
Thank you for having us as well on this show.
We'll give God the glory. So let's hit the show. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Women in leadership. What's your take on that?
Women in leadership. I believe that leadership itself is. Well, okay, let me start this way. When God created woman, He didn't create her to just be a woman with a womb alone, or maybe just to carry a baby. So it's the combination of a man that has a womb.
Right.
So she has things in her to give out. You understand? So, and leadership is not just about leading people, it's about what you have inside that you're giving out to people. You understand? So to others. So for a woman to even be in leadership in the first place, meaning she has things in her that she has to give out to maybe the society, to give back to the world, because that's what leadership is all about. It's not just about occupying positions, it's about giving what you have inside, maybe to lead the people, maybe your wisdom, your skills, your character, you're leading with everything in you. So woman in leadership is not out of place. It's number one, a desire of God for us. It's what God is beyond just bringing forth children. You understand? So it's part of what you should do as a woman. So so because your calling is not just in the kitchen or just to a hand. So number one, your leadership starts from maybe even the children that you give birth to. You are how do I say it now? You're giving what is inside of you to build a society, to build a home, to build a people. You understand? So it's not just about in fact, as a woman, I think you're even in leadership. It might be it might be at different capacities, can be at different levels. You're taking your children. You understand? You're taking care of your home, because daddy is the head of the family, but at the same time, ask the children who runs this home, they will tell you that it's the mom. So it's leadership and all that. So it's your calling. Anywhere you find yourself, you're supposed to lead, and you lead by examples, by the way, by the lifestyle you exhibit and all that. So leadership is your calling as a woman.
Wow, leadership is our calling as a woman. Interesting the way you went about. I love your perspectives, and the way you addressed it. So on that note, can we also understand the basic values and beliefs you think a woman as a leader ought to possess?
A woman as a leader must, number one, that I like to speak about is you must be compassionate. Because there's in your womb, it's inbuilt. As a woman, you have this compassion thing in you. And how can you lead without compassion?
Right.
I don't know if you watched this movie, Wakanda. Did you see
Yeah, I
it?
did.
Yes.
I did watch it.
If you remember,
I think the main
what,
actor
yes,
passed away.
passed away. You remember one of the things that the lady mentioned when the power tussle was between, I can't remember their names now. He said you can't be the leader because you don't love the people. You know, that guy that came from wherever and said he wanted to become the king because
very
he said, you understand,
and,
very wicked. He said you can't lead the people. I might not say it the way he said it, but that was why I go from it. That you can't lead the people because you don't love the people. So leadership comes with you having this bubble of compassion in you, meaning you're feeling what the people you're purporting to lead. You're feeling what they are going through.
right.
You are empathetic. You sympathize with them. You listen to them. So the fact that you're a woman leader doesn't mean that you're the boss lady. You're not listening to anyone. So women in leadership comes with number one, you must be compassionate. Number two, you are a person of humility. Humility because what is the end of a leader when you cannot even approach you? When you appear, the whole world must disappear. When you are walking, this woman when they enter the office like with their heels, they'll say it's breaking by. This one is not breaking by us. So this one is you're oppressing everybody with your heels and all that. So you're not compassionate. You're not humble. When a woman in leadership should be someone that people can come to talk to, discuss what is going on with you. You know, you should be easy. It should be easy to approach. We always talk about my late Vice Chancellor, Professor Banyo. Professor Banyo was approached by, she was so approachable that students walked up to her to talk to her. Laborers, gardeners in the compound in the university, they could walk up to her. She will even ask you, how will you do? She stood close to the level of the gardeners in society, in the university community, to know what's happening to them. So she knew what was happening to other people. She knew what was happening. But there's a lady that told me that she just came to visit somebody, a secretary in the hospital, a secretary's wife gave birth, and she came to visit. And sincerely speaking, she had her own baby too. She blessed the baby. You understand? And the woman said that was my first meeting with her, and that was the last. You understand? So it comes with humility. It comes with you are approachable. You're not because you are in leadership. You are not at the top of the world. Nobody can talk to you because humility is what makes people be able to. It won't give them the opportunity to talk to you. Maybe something is wrong. You can listen to them. So the woman in leadership requires the compassion. It requires humility. You know, I've not said anything about you being authoritative. You have not mentioned anything. I'm talking about the thing, the things you should have inside you that will make your work easy as a woman in leadership. Your compassion to people, your ability to listen to people, the humility that you carry for people, you are of because you have you have that card. Then the fact that you're able to look out for other people makes you and then you look out for a way of developing other people around you. Because that's what leadership is all about. You're looking at them. You have this mind for other people as a woman leader, as a female leader. Like now you have there's this, but I think I just got to break that thing now. People have you have house help. Your house help cannot be developed. So what kind of woman are you? What kind of leadership are you? Portraying when your house help does not have its basic whole level. It doesn't have basic matric. If it has, you can help that child to, maybe save up and say, okay, you're going to write matric tomorrow. I mean, next, whenever I come, understand what the person wants. Help the person. You might not even give the person money. But what stops you from even giving the person money? So maybe registering the person. So you're looking out for the development of the other person. So if you are a woman in leadership, it is your responsibility to develop other people around you. It is a responsibility. Your cleaner in the office, help her to see how she can further in her career. She shouldn't continue to be that cleaner all the rest of her life.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Viewers.
Your house help should not continue to be your house help. Grow her to a state that she can send her to the university. I know people that they had house helps, and I think like my pastor in Nigeria, the girl still goes back home anytime she's on holiday. They ensure that she writes her O level, she wrote her jam, she entered university, get admitted to university. Anytime she's on holiday, she goes back home to say hello to them. She says, take care of the family. You don't understand. So I think for me, impacting lives, developing other people around you. It's beyond your office work. Look out for other people. Be compassionate about them. Humble yourself enough to know what is happening with people. I'm not saying prognosing, but humble yourself to listen to others so I can even tell you when you're even going wrong. You don't even know what you understand. Help them develop themselves. You don't leave them like that.
Wow, thank you for your take. You've talked about how a woman leader can be compassionate. Let's also look at the essence of the woman leader in the home, like in terms of her relationship with her husband. You know, how she's able to balance that relationship with her husband, being a wife that is, you know, humble and submissive. We understand that submission plays a good role in a healthy marriage. So
you know, before you became, even if you were, as long as you're married, even if you're a leader before you married your husband, you are in that home. Your responsibility is first as that's of your wife.
that's true.
And as a wife, it's required of you to be submissive to your husband. That's the scriptural requirement that I like to say. That you know, God told us as wives to submit ourselves to our husband. Yes, we should honor our husband. So it is first my responsibility as a wife, as long as I'm a wife, to humble myself, submit myself to my husband, take care of my home. I can't leave my home and go and be leading a society. That would be a failure. You understand? Leading the home, including the children as well. Sorry, ma. Sir, please put the belt. Yes. Sorry, guys. So it's important that we, you know, so in the home, first of all, my assignment is I take care of my home, take care of my children, take care of my husband. So my leadership skill, that's when I said it from the beginning that if you cannot lead in your home and take care of everything in your home, then there's no point being a leader. If you cannot oversee, because leadership is about you knowing what is happening around you, taking care of your immediate environment first. So if you cannot execute that skill as a wife, taking care of your home, be responsible, listen to your husband, take instructions from him. If he tells you that, okay, this is what I want you to do, like we were discussing earlier, that your husband said, okay, why don't you take instructions from him. And how can and I believe that women in leadership, if you're a woman leader, it doesn't mean that it doesn't stop you from needing to be loved by your husband. So how will a husband love you if you're not even submissive enough?
That's true.
You understand? If you're not submitting yourself to be loved, if you're not available to be loved in the first place. So when it comes to your home as a woman in leadership position, whatever leadership position you're occupying, your home comes first.
That's true.
You understand? So that's my take about that. Your home comes first, and you must maintain. In the office, you are the boss, and that boss comes with humility, with compassion. But in the home, you are the wife that needs to be loved. Yeah, so you need to receive love from your husband. You need all the pamperings. You've gone the whole day to work for everybody. When you come back home, come and enjoy the pampering of your husband. But if you're not submissive enough, how do you want to enjoy the pampering of your husband? Let's even leave the fact that you can't give what you can't give what you let's leave the fact that okay, you want to cook and all that. You too, you need to be serviced. Who will service you if your husband is not servicing you? You understand? That's my thinking about it. So, but you need to wear that clothes of humility before you can, be submissive. You should give audience, and you should even give audience to your husband. You should be your best gist partner. Everything that happened in the office, let's come and gist about it in the house. It's no crime. It's no crime. So, and all of those things makes you to continue to bond, because without that you cannot still bond. The fact that you're in that doesn't mean that you should not bond with your husband. So give yourself that space, give yourself the time, close well at work. Don't bring office work home. If there are other things that you need to do, discuss with your husband. It will interest you that your husband will have 1,001 solutions to whatever problem that is,
and support you as
well. So, and if you want to enjoy the support of your husband as well, and that's another way you can enjoy the support of your husband, because you just submit yourself to him. Yes. So that's
wow, what an interesting take. I'm blown away. I'm sure you viewers watching also. What stood out for me in all that you mentioned is the issue of taking everyone along and trying to be submissive, as we earlier mentioned. You can't expect people to treat you right when you are not treating others right. So thank you for mentioning and emphasizing on that point. So okay, let's understand the issue of a woman leader that has all these issues at work, because definitely we understand that if you're at a place of work, even in a place of ministry, sometimes you might get so overwhelmed and excuse me, should I use the word frustrated? Not frustrated per se, not everything you do might be acceptable by people, and then sometimes or oftentimes you bring this home, this transfer aggression and all that. So in a woman's case, how do you think a woman that finds herself in such leadership position, how does she balance her emotions and all of that if she's overwhelmed by the leadership role she's playing?
Yes, if from a perspective, I think what helps, because as women we like to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And if God blessed you with a husband that listens, then you are blessed. Just to know that if all of those things happen at work, you can pick the phone, you can start talking to your husband. Before you say everything, the man will calm down because he has a money button.
I love that.
But if you don't have, and that's why number one, if you are not submissive,
Mm-hmm.
who will help you press that button the whole thing is going
haywire?
Mm-hmm. So number one thing you can do is, at least for me, that's what I've done over the times. The first person I did with, there was one time when I was secretary to the exam board and all that. Something happened, and I told the man, I was very, very, because it was too demand, and at that time I was under pressure for work and all that. After I was rude to my boss, the person I was working with at that time, the chairman exam board or the secretary exam board. I knew I was rude, but it was to save my family. I had to do that. Immediately I did that. When I ran back to my husband. I just called my husband and said, see what I did. I called him and I said, see what I did though. He said, don't worry, I will help you apologize. But what you did was right. Because I had to safeguard my home.
Absolutely.
I was being taken away from home too much. I had to tell the man that, sir, I can't be out of home Saturday, Sunday because of this. It's taking into my time. It's challenging and all that. It's another leadership because I was the secretary for the exam board, the whole university. So it was challenging for me. And my husband said, don't worry, I'm going to. He went along, he apologized to the man. He said to me that, what you did, number one, your home is, and that's what most men don't know, that your home is number one place you have to safeguard. He took it upon himself to apologize to the man. So imagine if I had not been, if I had not been loving to my husband, or if I had not carried him along in things, or if I don't talk to my husband at all, and even if I eventually get overwhelmed, like you said, because I got overwhelmed, who would have begged for me? Who would have apologized for me? You understand? The first person I called was my husband. See what I did? Said, don't worry, I will apologize to the man. Don't worry. So women, you have the ability to talk. When you're overwhelmed at one, the first person you should tell, because your husband will always listen. I've come to understand that at least if you are blessed, your husband will listen to you. So instead of you bringing it and getting moody from work and be talking, as I tell the thing, it's coming out of your mind. Be saying it. You'll be saying, If you say too much, ask him, is he only to say, what do you have to say about this matter? He will give his own. So, because God blessed, and I think that's why God blessed us with that. Like when you're overwhelmed, just say it. Say it. So you're overwhelmed. There should be someone to say it. So with that, it will offer you his advice. It will calm you down. It will correct you and what you've done wrong and all that. So, and if he has to apologize like my husband did, it will go that way to do that for you. Yes. Wow,
thank you so much for that. Viewers, I hope you've been blessed by this. We'll take our last question, which is just basically how to balance, a healthy marriage and playing an effective leadership skill and having a healthy marriage, like striking a balance between both. Generally, your take on that?
My take on that is, number one, you must have a good understanding of your responsibility as a wife. Bishop always says to us that when the use of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So do you know what your responsibility is, as your responsibilities are rather as a wife? What are the things required from you as a wife? Number one, you should understand. And once you understand that, okay, these are things I must do as a wife, my role as a wife, then you're able to, okay, what has things expected of me as a leader in this organization? What am I supposed to do? What are the things expected of me? What time is required for me to maybe resume work and all that? So in that case, with a husband, you plan yourself. Because planning is important. You have been able to understand your role as a wife, and you have been able to know, okay, this might be lacking. So you might have to talk about with your husband. So, and I forgot to say that as a woman in leadership, or women generally, they need support system. You should understand the support system, very key. And number one support system now in this case is first your husband. So you're able to talk it out with your husband. How can he assist you in this and that? You understand? And he's able to lift some things away from you. Probably maybe pick up of children from school. He's able to pick things away. Because you get overwhelmed when you are doing everything you want yourself. You want to safeguard the home and you still want to safeguard the world. So why don't you have this conversation with your husband? He might say to you, okay, let's get a help to help in this. You understand? But okay, don't worry, I'm going to leave this off you. Maybe okay, I will be picking up the children. So with that, you are not overwhelmed. You are being able to balance it.
Right.
You understand? That's my perspective about it. That's my own understanding. That, okay, so that's not to say that, and all those things can still happen because you're a submissive wife. If you're not submissive,
you won't get his attention in the first place.
So I believe that's why you cannot but be submissive. That's why it's no matter the position you occupy, your submission as a wife is still very key. That's why you should understand your role as a wife, the requirements as a wife. With that, you're able to balance. You're able to get the right support that you need from your husband. Absolutely. He can even himself seek for support for you himself. So, okay, why don't you let do this? Let's do that. Because I remember then, and even up to now, that we would have a baby, it would tell me, go and rest. Go and rest. Go and rest. Yes, because you're able, that's balance, you understand? But if you're not submissive, if you're nagging, how do you want to get that kind of conversation along with your husband? So, number one, that part of it that is humble, that part of it that is submissive, that part of it that is compassionate, you cannot remove it. Compassionate in the sense that you still need to ask him about his work. You still need to know how he's faring. You still need to know how he's feeling. When he tells you to sit down, you're not supposed to go to that place today. You're not supposed to be jumping around. You still listen to him. With that, you're able to balance up. I think, have I answered the question?
Yes, you have. Okay. Yeah, balancing generally.
Balancing generally. As a wife.
Wow, viewers, this is powerful. The issue of balancing, what stood out for me is you mentioning the fact that if you're not submissive or you're not humble in the first place, you can't get your husband's attention. So, and if you don't get your husband's attention, the frustration is worse, because you come home and you're looking for who to vent on, you're looking for who to share with, and there's no one. So I think the issue of balancing our marriages and whatever role we play in organizations or wherever we find ourselves is very important. But it starts from putting our homes in order. When your home is in order, even whatever you get from outside, you already know there's a haven for you to come home and find comfort, support, and solace, just as she has mentioned. I believe this has blessed your viewers.
Before you close, I think that you should understand the responsibility that you cannot even. That's why I said from the first, that I understand your responsibility, your rules as a wife, because it is not in everything that you can. For me, some husbands, I know some homes they get people to cook for them, but yes, in some homes, I don't know if I don't pray I should get to that extent where somebody will be cooking for my husband. You understand that? So you understand that, or somebody serves your husband, what stops you from dishing the food and all that? So know your responsibilities, understand what you're supposed to do as your husband. Discuss it with him. Even if you have a house help, are you comfortable with this? Your house help should not be the one packing your husband's underwear from the railing. It is abuse. I'm sorry I have to go that.
And there are some women that overlook
because I am so busy. Yes. You shouldn't share that kind of responsibility with someone else. So
even the bedroom, the bedroom is sacred.
It's sacred to you. You shouldn't get a house help because you're too busy. You're the boss lady to lay the bed. It's not difficult to lay the bed, and that's why I think having this discussion with your husband comes in. There are some things that can help lift from your, you understand, you do those things by himself because he understands that you're busy. He can go to the kitchen and serve himself, but at least cook, dish it in the good place. If you shouldn't even dish it, put it on the table. Let him understand this thing is there, sir. I remember there was a time I was leading another, I said someone, I said, I will cook as early as 5 a.m. because I know I was going to stay longer. So with that one, that part of it is already settled. I'm not going to be bothering or leaving my husband hungry because I was going to stay longer outside. So I already settled the meal. So I think, and because I have other responsibilities I have to attend to. So to solve that part of it, I understand that this is my role, this is what I'm supposed to do.
You sort it out.
Sort it out. So sorry I had to cut it short, but
wow.
I think I just
thank you so much.
Know what to apportion, know what to share, know what to delegate to others,
and know what to maintain for yourself, regardless.
Yes, regardless.
Wow, thank you. Any take home for any striking take home for viewers?
I think from what I've said, maybe in summary, a woman in leadership should understand your place as a wife. First of all, yes, your place as the mother. You don't neglect your children because you're a leader. You don't do that. I think we didn't even mention that part of it. Your children, your husband, you don't neglect it for anything. In the office, there are responsibilities you can delegate in the office, but there are responsibilities you cannot delegate in the home. Yes. So I think for me, it's number one, learn delegation, discuss with your husband, be submissive, like I said earlier, so that it can help you to see where it can come in to help
Right.
you, yes.
Right.
Then get to a support system that works. Know what's supposed to be delegated. Don't put everything on your head, or else you get overburdened. Yes, yes, can get overburdened. So learn what to delegate, understand what to delegate, understand. You can adopt some support system, like maybe sending people to the market. And these days people now do that. There are people that maybe they buy in bulk or not. Just understand how you can remove some things that are not core to you. Yes, some things are not core. Yes, you outsource them. That's what we use in HR. Yes, you outsource. Some things can be outsourced. Some things can. So just understand yourself as a woman in leadership. Understand your role as a wife, as a mother, then as the boss mother or the boss madam that you are. Yes.
Wow.
And don't forget the place of compassion with people you're working with, the place of compassion, the place of humility, the place of listening for them. So I think that's just a summary.
Wow, you've said it all. Thank you so much, ma'am. You've been blessed. I have been blessed, and I'm sure you watching have been blessed too. And on this note, we'll end this episode by wishing you all a happy Women's Month. Bye. Bye. Come on, cut it for us. Bye, bye, bye. Cheers once again. Woo!